Hi everybody, my name is Isabella Bradis. I am the head intern here at WellTech. I'd like to inform everybody that our company was recently acquired by an international healthcare technology company in Colombia. And I'd like to share some pointers and some basic information on how to effectively communicate in Colombia. I'm going to start off with spoken communication. There is some similarities in spoken communication, but also obviously differences as to the US. In Colombia, they tend to be very communication oriented throughout the day, and in business settings, they are very verbal. And they also tend to do a lot of non-verbal cues, such as hand gestures and facial expressions, which say a lot about a person and what they're thinking and feeling at the moment or in the meeting. They also tend to speak a lot slower than in other Latin countries, which would be rather beneficial for a foreigner who is learning Spanish or is not very fluent yet. And they sometimes have a tendency to interrupt one another during meetings. However, as a foreigner, that would be extremely. Now, moving on to written communications. Written communication is a totally different thing in the US and in Colombia. In Colombia, they tend to write as the same way that they would speak. However, in the US, it is typically a much different tone in word use, which I found interesting. Meetings in Colombia are rather similar to the US. They care a lot about the way you are dressed in Colombia. If you are not dressed properly, it is seen as disrespectful, and you are possibly almost seen down. In Colombia, they are very personable, and it is respectful and almost mandatory to greet everyone in the meeting and be smiling, engaging in small talk, and interacting with them. They also are very big on being punctual. When a meeting is scheduled, they expect everybody to be there on the right time, even if the meeting is not going to start for till a much later time. It's extremely rude if you're arrive late, even in the US, but in Colombia, it's even a bigger deal. They also have some very big differences in decision making. In Colombia, they are very hierarchical, and typically the more senior employees are the big decision makers, unlike in the US, where it's typically CEOs and managers and higher ups. It's typically senior people in the Colombian industries, which I found actually very different. They also do not wait for an overall agreement, but make a decision rather on what they think would be best for everybody as a whole. And also in decision making, when there is bad news, they typically tend to address it privately rather than publicly with the employee, which I found nice because that is very good. Overall, communication in Colombia is very different. However, it is nothing crazy and is more personable and nice. They tend to be very friendly and communicative, and some tips on how to properly communicate in Colombia would be to obviously dress properly in meetings and whenever meeting with possible business inquiries or interviews. It is also nice to be smiling and interacting and engaging in small talk that is respectful, obviously punctual, as I said before, and to be respectful to the senior employees and the higher ups, of course. Thank you, everybody, for listening to my presentation. I hope this is beneficial for us in our future communications in Colombia.